Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that a brand new Hearts of Iron 4 Expansion Pass 2 announcement? That's crazy. It's already mixed. Welcome back to a little bit of slot where today we're going to go through the new Expansion Pass 2. There is some very interesting things that Paradox have announced for this new lot of DLC coming out. We've got the brand new release date for the big DLC coming in November and some new features we need to look at. First off, though, I guess if you are crazy enough to spend £41 on a expansion pass, you can go ahead, click my link, my Paradox affiliate link down below, or use the code iSorrow Productions. This will give you access to the expansion pass. I think there's currently a sale on. I don't know if you still get that 20% off if you buy it now, or if you don't. I don't know. Click the link, find out, I guess. I'm not in charge of your clicking. But yeah, I'm not sponsored to point it out, but I do have to say that if you do buy it through my link, you will get a Steam code. Of course, even if it's from the Paradox website, you get a Steam code, and I get 12% of this £41. That's right. So me, run the numbers right now. How much of that will go in my pocket? And now if we predict how much of that goes into your pocket, and then put a graph on screen, and then another graph that contradicts everything the first graph just said. And then when you've done all of that, I want you to say thank you, because the people who buy the affiliate with my affiliate link will officially be paying the editor for this video. Say thank you, Swimmy. Wow, shucks, wasn't he hype? Okay, so first off, let's talk about the big one. No Compromise, No Surrender, coming November 20th. We're not going to go into too much details about this. We've already covered it a whole bunch in the dev diaries, but look at that. We get ourselves the Japan tree, the Communist China tree, Nationalist China tree, Philippines focus tree, and new military doctrines mechanic, which I'm going to show in a second because it is kind of interesting. Yeah, a lot of people were expecting one more focus tree in there, potentially. I did say if it was going to be anyone, it would be Siam, but Siam's actually coming in a separate focus tree theater pack, which we'll get to later. But first things first, I want to talk about that new military doctrine system. They show it off in the latest dev diary for the announcement, and I think a lot of people are going to be happy. Okay, well, Steam just doesn't want me to see this in anything higher than, what is this, 240p? But yeah, you can kind of already see how this is going to work. So now you start your doctrine up here. You will pick, obviously, one of the 4 doctrines you usually pick from. So we have Superior, Mobile, blah, 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 Mass Assault. But then you can actually, as you level it up, change and go to different things from different doctrines. So this is going to be a way more specific experience for you now when you're making your doctrine. I think it looks pretty cool. It's going to add a bit more fluidity. It's going to be a bit more watery in terms of where things can go. It looks like it's going to work exactly like you imagine it would work. 100 XP for the next level up, just like it is currently. It is kind of weird that the irregulars right there is 25. I don't know if that's just a specific thing for irregulars, or if there was a bonus unlocked before that, but maybe considering it is irregulars, that just unlocks a brand new troop. But yeah, I do think this is gonna go pretty damn well. So as you can see as well, they are separated as well now. So you have your infantry, your artillery, your armor, and your operations, each of which can be upgraded. And I don't think this is as complicated as you're probably gonna, immediately be scared off by it. It's gonna work exactly the same from what I can see right now. But obviously you just get more choice. You get way more choice to actually pick what you want your army to be good at, what you need in this specific scenario, specific playthrough. You don't have to just focus on a purely infantry build anymore. You can actually make room for your tanks, or being more defensive, or having artillery. Overall, I think this is going to be a way better system. I'm assuming there's still probably going to be some extreme metas that are going to develop from this, and people probably are going to be doing the same thing over and over again, but I'm going to have my fun with it when it comes out. Now, what else do you get in Expansion Pass 2? We're going to cover all of this now. Some of them I don't think people are going to be too excited for. They're just the usual cosmetic stuff, like the seaplane tenders right there. You also get enough on the warships of the Pacific, another cosmetic pack. pack. I'm assuming people will probably be a bit more hyped for this one as they do like their shit. But we do get 2 new experiments with Paradox today. They've got ourselves a focus pack and a theater pack, both new things. So we'll start off the theater pack. It's kind of like Trial of Allegiance or Graveyard of Empires, which the latter I think is the reason the theater pack now exists, because a lot of people were not happy with that in the slightest. But a theater pack is just like Graveyard of Empires or Trial of Allegiance. I can't remember what they called them, but now it actually comes with features as well, not just the focus trees. Obviously, this came about because a lot of people were not happy with Graveyard of Empires. They weren't happy with Trial of Allegiance either. They didn't just want to pay a lot of money because those DLCs were pretty costly just for pure focus trees. So now they're adding the focus trees, but also adding new features. The focus pack, we're going to go into in a bit more detail in a bit because it is a very weird new thing, and some people might like the idea, some people may not like the idea, but we're going to look at the theater pack right now and I'll go explain on the page. Oh yeah, look, there you go. Save 20%. If you click my link down below, you're going to get the expansion pass now for £41, or you're going to get it for 20% more than that, or is it 20% off the £41? I don't know, but maybe you should use my link down below. Hit it, Swimmy! Is he dancing? I don't know if Swimmy can dance. So here we go, thunder out our gates. Our first theater pack, you'll get yourself the Australian, the Siamese, and the Indonesian focus tree, and on top of that you get the military HQs. Deploy your generals where they matter, wield local command, and support your troops through synergies with updated command abilities, proximity, and new division design features. Looks interesting. I know a lot of people were looking forward for Siam to potentially be in this DLC, but yep, bad news, not coming. You're gonna have to pay separately unless you buy the expansion pass, and you'll get a bit of a discount. But damn, it's definitely interesting to see Paradox has in a way listened, and in other ways not really listened to what people were upset about with this DLC. But obviously they've got the background, you know, demographics, analytics stuff that they know works, so potentially this could be their answer that they might think would, you know, bring people back from Graveyard of Empires. But yeah, we get ourselves 3 new focus trees and 1 new feature, and then ship captains. Ship captains name counters lead your major ships, and they can level up just like your divisions can now. So you know, giving medals, stuff like that. It's exactly the same now, but with your individual ships. Not entirely sure about military HQs. I think that's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, I'm getting like Hoi 3 flashbacks and my head starts pounding, but hopefully not as annoying as Hoi 3. We'll see about that one. Yeah, 3 new focus trees, 1 new feature, and then a mini feature, which is ship captains. I don't really consider this to be a feature. It's just something kind of tacked on that they could have added anywhere, really. I don't know. I guess they needed another thing to try and get people to buy this DLC. Not entirely sure if this is going to be a region a lot of people are probably going to be hyped for, though. Australia and Indonesia, I imagine, probably. I know there's a lot of Indonesians and Australians that play the game. Not too sure about the Thai people that are going to come back for the Siam focus tree. I'm not sure. You can correct me down below, but it would be nice to have an Australian focus tree that isn't 70 days for a level 2 railway. Oh, and here comes the kicker. Peace for our time. Already, I've seen a lot of controversy about this DLC. Mostly, you know, on the forum and on the Reddit, the Hoi 4 Reddit, a lot of people are already talking about this. Obviously, we can't see the individual price right now because they're not going to be released. You can only buy them through the expansion pass for now, but they will be individual eventually if you just want to buy one single focus, I guess. But essentially what this is a single mini DLC just for a Czech rework. And the interesting thing about this is being made in collaboration with veteran modders. As far as I'm aware, Paradox haven't done anything like this for focuses before. They did have the Soviet Union cosmetic focus pack that was made in collaboration with a modder, but straight up bringing in content for Czechoslovakia by a modder is something very interesting. They did say it's an experiment. They're going to see how it goes. I want to know the full price for this, though, considering it is just a Czech focus tree rework. Some people probably never going to touch this with a 50-foot pole, but when you have something like the Czechs where they can't really fit in an individual rework for them, and they do want to rework a lot of the old content in the game, I guess it kind of makes sense to do something like this. The checks, you know, you're not going to have a full DLC for the checks. They're probably not going to be able to fit it into anything else. If they could have fitted it into something, it would have been goddamn wrong, but they obviously never did that. And now you have this weird mini DLC made in collaboration with a modder, which I'm not saying, you know, the modders are going to be less quality, obviously. It could actually be way higher quality, especially if Paradox are helping them with it. But if this is successful, and a lot of people do like the focus tree, and again, this is going to depend on the price. If this comes out, I think like $7.99, oh, people aren't going to be happy. But if it comes out around like $5.99, maybe $4.99, I could see it potentially working for Paradox. They do look like they have a whole bunch of content already pretty much confirmed for what they're going to do with this check rework, and it would be really nice to have a check rework, of course, but the big thing about this is obviously just going to be whether or not people, you know, there's good reception to it. If there's not, I imagine Paradox won't do this in the future, but if it comes out at a good price, obviously I'm assuming the modder will be getting a share, which is nice for the modder, and the content is good, not broken, not out of place in Vanilla Hoi 4. This could be the future. There are a lot of nations that do need a rework that potentially are never going to see one, because there's only so many times you can go back and rework a nation in one big DLC that you may just see these mini DLCs pop up every now and again. I'm thinking already for, you know, potentially the future, like nations like Luxembourg don't have a focus tree. Where the hell are you going to fit in a Luxembourg focus tree? Where the hell are you going to fit in a Czech rework focus tree? I mean, the Yugoslavians as well, they got a bit of a rejig with their focus tree, but they're never going to get a rework completely. Stuff like that. This could fill the gaps nicely in between like a big release for Hoi 5, which I'm imagining ain't coming for a while regardless. But I really am interested to see what you guys think down below about this. I think the big crux about this DLC is going to be the price. If the price is too high, no one's going to want it for just a base Czech focus tree. There is nothing else in this but a Czech rework focus tree. Now, I did pull this from the Reddit. Someone pulled this from the forums and then posted it on the Reddit, and I pulled it from them. I did crop your name out though because I don't want to dox you. This is Paradox answering a couple questions about the DLC. So, fair question. Firstly, we didn't have any long-term plans to revisit the area for a full expansion, that being the Czechs. We only have end budget to invest, and there are higher priorities. Secondly, collabs with external developers, models, or otherwise like this are a bit experimental for us. Limiting the scope of them allows us to be a lot more focused in feedback, quality assessment, and approach. They do say the lower scope of this will be reflected in pricing, which again, I think that will be the death or potentially a phoenix from the ashes of whether or not this feature will potentially go forward. When I say feature, I mean the idea of modders potentially adding their content into the game, Paradox working with other people for single focus trees. That is gonna be on the pricing. Does say here these ones are something a bit new we're trying. The scope is just one country, but with big focus on flavor and content, something for countries that we feel deserve the expansion treatment, but that we are unlikely to cover in a major expansion again. So obviously this means that Paradox were never going to come back to the Czechs, and this is the only way that they would ever have the budget to actually make a DLC to rework these areas, potentially in the future new areas, and at the same time give you guys more content. But a lot of people, you know, they probably won't be receptacle to this. They don't want, they don't want to miss out and have to pay for individual focus trees, especially if they're going to be too expensive. So, I mean, I'm with you on this one, though. I'm highly skeptical, because if I see this comes out and it's just too much, I mean, I just don't think people are going to like it. It could have really good content in it, and that's the shame of it. But if you're paying really good content for a nation specifically you don't want to play that much, maybe once a year type deal, you know, nobody's really going to want to play the Czechs too much. Yeah, I am, you know, cautiously optimistic though that this could be a good thing for the game, filling in a lot of gaps. Whether or not people again are going to be super interested in this, so time will tell. And we do have to wait a little bit for this to come out. It is Q2 2026, and I am very interested to see what you guys think down below. But yeah, that was our expansion pass 2 coverage. A lot of new stuff coming. I think in terms of hype, I'm mostly hyped for obviously the big new expansion coming November 20th. Make sure you get my link down below so Swimmy can do his little dance again. Look at him dance. Wow. And then I am kind of cautiously optimistic for the new things Paradox are trying. They have listened, clearly, from Trial of Allegiance and Graveyard of Empires, but could potentially be opening up a whole new storm with this new piece of 4 time focus tree, modder collaboration. How much is it going to cost, you know? Already, people are pretty upset that the expansion pass is £41. That is definitely a lot of money for potentially some real stinkers. I'm going to put it out there. It could be good though, and you could miss out on a good deal with the expansion pass later on. I obviously can't say anything for certain. I've not played any of this. I've not heard Paradox tell me anything about this, but I like to be optimistic. So let me know your thoughts down below on this new expansion pass, what you're excited for. Do you like the idea of Paradox working with modders? Potentially, do you like the idea of the new theater pack where you now get features with these mini DLCs that come with focus trees? And overall, give it a clap in the chat for Swimmy and his little dance, and I'll catch you all, I guess, in a couple weeks. I don't know what I'm going to upload next.